Oh, motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread. That's for damn sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now. If you think about my cornbread, get the taste out your mouth. That's for damn sure. Now, fuck him. Fuck that. Because I'm from New York City, goddammit. Nobody take no cornbread from me. That goes for you and any other you motherfucking farmers wanna try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
Haters gonna hate, and ain'ters gonna ain't.
What up, what up? What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. I'm Trey Fraser. It's Maestro Styles here in the building tonight. You can catch us live right here on our website. It's barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. Also, you can follow us on our Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also on the Facebook page, and you can follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. And we're also streaming live on our YouTube channel. So if you got YouTube and you're just scrolling around videos and stuff, just make sure y'all come holler at us. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. That's what it is. It's Trey Fraser. It's Maestro Styles. Another week in the books. Let's kick it off, man. What's poppin', B?
Hey, man, ain't nothing. Ready to talk some sports.
Yeah, man, I hear you, bro. I hear you. I guess you want to go ahead and start by talking about this win that y'all got on Sunday. I see you got the Bumblebee jersey on, so we already know what that is.
I mean, that's more about, that was more about Steelers Ravens than it was last week, but I just feel like I needed, like you got the face mask on. I needed you to make sure you saw something. And I
was the same way. I was the same way.
I got my hat with the patches right here, but I realized I wasn't going to wear the hat. I wasn't about to do that, so.
No doubt. But that was, I got to tell you, because I was so fortunate to actually have that game air live here. So I had that game and I had the, Dallas game on, which we'll talk about that mess in a little bit. But I was able to watch the Titans and the Steelers game. And I got to tell you, I think the thing that sticks out to me is that when you look at the final score, it doesn't indicate how much domination that the Titans took at the hands of the Steelers. I mean, you look at those first two drives for the Steelers on offense. It was almost as if they were saying, we're going to play defense by, giving you these 9-minute drives. And that also means that Derrick Henry is on the bench and he's not out there on the field, tearing it up. That's what it almost seemed to me like the game plan was. We're gonna defend Derrick Henry by chewing up this clock, killing you on third down, and it's so funny about that third down stat, in particular with the Titans, because the announcer said that I think they were like number one in third down percentage given up on defense.
Meaning they were the worst team. They were the worst.
They were the worst on third down. And the moment and I didn't know that. I didn't know that going into the game, but once that announcer made that stat, that's when you started to see the Steelers, 7 for 7 on third down, and I think that was combined, both drives. I think y'all was 7 for 7 on third down. I think y'all had about 9 minutes of time of possession that first drive.
Oh, you mean the first two drives?
The first two drives, yes. And particularly particularly the first two drives, because I feel like y'all won the game with those first two drives, killing the clock, and not just that, but putting touchdowns on the board. I think that was most important.
Yeah, I feel like that score was very telling of how the game went. It's a tale of two halves for me. The first half was utter domination. The second half was not, and if I got to be honest, it was more so because of Pittsburgh mistakes. But nonetheless, it was a tale of two halves. The Titans played a better second half. Mm-hmm. And let's be clear, Gostowski missed the 40 or so yard field goal to tie the game up at overtime. When Pittsburgh had completely lost momentum in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a penalty here, a missed tackle there that had A.J. Brown break one free.
Yeah. The interceptions.
The interceptions, even though.
Particularly the last one. Particularly that last interception.
And that was I guess that was the worst interception I don't like that halftime throw either, but that was a good thought process, that throw to Juju Smith in the end zone. He just didn't have good ball placement on it, but that's a throw that you want that throw. He should have threw it higher for Juju, but that's the kind of, if you're trying to put a team in the dirt, those are the type of plays. I didn't have a problem with the play call. I had a problem with the ball placement of that in that throw. Then the one that got tipped up in the air. Like, the point is that we had three bad interceptions two bad interceptions at bad times. The third one was going into halftime, but two bad interceptions at bad times. I feel like as good as the game Deontay Johnson had. It wasn't a perfect one. He had a few drops that he needed to catch if he's going to take the next step at wide receiver. James Conner had a bad fumble that he got back, but it was undoubtedly a bad fumble. Look, not a perfect game. I'll take the W. Definitely a one of those heart attack games, I like to call them, where you at the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
You getting taken through a whole lot of emotions because obviously. But I'll be honest, I knew that even going into halftime, I'm like, okay, man, if we was talking about 30 points, that we had scored 31 in the first half, okay, then I would have felt confident that we had eliminated Derrick Henry out of the equation. But with a 20-point lead, I didn't feel like we had eliminated him out of the conversation, out of the game for, and we had a whole another half of football to play. So I do also want to credit this Pittsburgh for keeping him at bay. Even in the second half when they, continued to make attempts to get the running game going.
Yeah, and the Titans had some opportunities really like early in that second half where once the defense was able to kind of, get themselves right, offensively, they had some penalties. Like they had a couple false starts where it kind of put them in like third and long situations and they couldn't convert. So I thought those were kind of the difference in possibly the Titans pulling off, the comeback victory. I thought that was critical. And Gostowski, I tweeted about this the other day. I'm like, man, this dude he's been off since not being on the Patriots. Yeah. Like he's missed 6 field goals already, I think, this season.
Oddly enough, though, he's like 5. He's only missed I think he's perfect. Over 50 yards, though.
Perfect over 50 yards. I did see that stat.
Yeah.
But just kind of overall, field goals, he's not what he once was, or at least he's not, kicking like he once was,
but I felt like, I think if you watched a couple of Patriots games in his last year with the Patriots, you saw the decline. You saw the decline.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how much of that was pressure in the sense that the Patriots offensively, weren't all that great last year, and I think they were leaning a little bit more on him. In certain cases, I mean, it wasn't, the whole season. I just thought there were moments last year where, the Patriots wasn't looking much of anything on offense in several spots. And then they called on him, to start making some kicks and, kind of what you alluded to, you started to see some slippage there.
Yeah, I can't put pressure on kickers. You just only do one thing. I can't really go for that pressure thing.
No, I agree with that part of it. It's just that when you got Tom Brady for all these years and these guys convert touchdowns so much where you're not as utilized as like maybe a Justin Tucker, when he first, got in the league, you're not counted upon as much, but I believe he was counted on a little bit more last year with the Patriots than he ever was throughout his career. That's just my opinion. I feel
like that's more reason you make it.
What's that?
I feel like that's more reason you make it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're right. You do one thing. You kick the ball through the upright. That's what you do. That's the only thing you do.
Yeah, I can't really. I do understand that a kicker's it's a rhythm thing. Like if you're doing it, then you're in the flow of it, and when you're in your funk. And I say this all the time about kickers. Like, you have a bad year, a bad season, it's really hard as a kicker to come back that next year and have a good year. Like, a lot of kickers don't come back from that funk once they have it.
Yeah.
So certainly, I get it. He may be in a funk. He may have been in a funk that year in New England. Yep. Seems as if he hasn't came back from that funk.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it. But nonetheless, man, that was I'd have to say, rooting for the Titans in the game on Sunday, and just the kind of way the second half kind of played out. It was a really, good game in comparison to some of the other early games that was going on around the league. I mean, there was a lot of like blowouts
game of the
taking
week
place.
Again.
What's that?
Game of the week again.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much game of the week.
2 weeks in a row, and clearly going to be the game of the week next week.
Clearly. Yeah. Clearly the game of the week this coming Sunday. It's funny because and shout out to Chibs. He was on Twitter the other day, and he was talking about how the game should have been flexed to Sunday night, and I would have been all for that. Night game, national audience, and all that. I would have been up for all that. The problem is that when you got the Cowboys in that slot, was scheduled in that slot for the night game, regardless of how good they look, regardless of how terrible they look, the league is never flexing out a Cowboys game out of prime time.
I think the other point is that CBS is not going to give up the viewership they're going to give for the Baltimore Steelers game.
That's part of it too.
Whoever else would have had to be there.
Yep, that's part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely part of it. No question about that. But speaking of the Cowboys, well, first let me say what up to a couple people in the chat here. Big Kev 303.
What's happening?
What's going on? And then we got D Greatest from South Central repping the X Squad. He's got his Dodgers logo up, hoping to close that thing out tonight.
Close it out tonight.
Yep, was good. Appreciate everybody in the chat. You have anything else on the game?
No, I mean, look, again, it's just, hey, man, I'll say this. We undefeated. We are the only undefeated team in the NFL. And regardless of how long that may or may not last, that's just what it is. Too bad your team, not just your team, Trey, but every other team who got something to say about us out here celebrating our being undefeated, kick rocks, because y'all not, and we are. I will say this, too, to add to it.
Mm-hmm.
I seen ESPN Power Rankings, and they have us as number one. I will admit, I don't like it.
Now, why is that?
I don't want the spotlight. Two, I don't. I mean, I get that we're undefeated, but I don't per se put my I don't base my rankings per se just on record. We're not playing the best football in the NFL right now. That's just a fact.
Look, man, Mike Greenberg is already got y'all in the Super Bowl, bruh.
I got us in the Super Bowl, so I mean, I got us in the Super Bowl.
Nah, I mean, but not only that, but this dude talking about y'all the best team, period, in the AFC, it's. I mean, he made it seem like, oh, it's Pittsburgh and that's it. It's like the defending Super Bowl champs ain't still, hanging around. You know what I'm saying? Like the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't in the toughest division in football. I mean, let's pump the brakes a little bit here. I think the AFC is a lot stronger this year than it's ever been, and that's not including the Patriots, which is a first in a long time for me to say.
Makes me proud.
I love it.
Happening to Cam. I hate that it's happening to Cam, but it makes me proud.
Right. I hate that Cam has to go through what he's going through there, but I mean, to see the Patriots at 2-4, and they possibly I just saw this earlier today. They were trying to shop Stephon Gilmore, and I was like, oh, okay. All right, I'll take Stephon Gilmore. I wouldn't mind.
Man, if y'all get Stephon Gilmore with the rest of that team,
with that cornerback crew, yeah,
with that defense crew, I mean, y'all just got it. Who is y'all? DaCosta? What's y'all GM name again?
Eric DaCosta.
Yeah. I know this supposed to be Ravens hate week, but I gotta say. He's doing a hell of a job.
So I got a question about Eric DaCosta, right? So I'm in one of these Ravens Facebook groups, and I'm scrolling down my timeline, and someone had said that Eric DaCosta is a better general manager than Ozzie Newsome. Now I sat back and I said, you know what? Eric DaCosta is not a better GM than Ozzie Newsome yet. But
yeah, I won't put so much stock into that right now.
Right. He's not a better GM than Ozzie Newsome just yet. Here's what's different about Eric DaCosta. He's taken more swings during these seasons. He did it last year when he picked up Marcus Peters. Mm-hmm. And now you see it with the Des Bryant signing to the practice squad, which I hope he gets on the 53-man immediately. Also, Yannick Ngakoue, we got that pickup. And I just read somewhere on Twitter that he was trying to trade for Zach Ertz out of Philly.
Yeah, I read that too.
So the difference really is that Eric DaCosta is just, taking more swings than Ozzie Newsome ever did, during the season.
Right.
Yeah, that's really the difference. It's not so much that he's better. I mean, you got to give him time to really, prove that. But I just think he's just taking a lot more swings right now, and it's being more aggressive. I think that's the best word to put it. Is that Eric DaCosta is more aggressive than Ozzie Newsome? I'll attest to that statement.
Well, that's probably the last nice thing I'll say about Baltimore this week. So. Let me get that out. I'll get that out the way.
I don't expect no nice things from anybody this week. From anybody, not just you. I don't expect anything. I expect a W from my team on Sunday. That's about it.
Man, that thing about expectations.
Other than that, I don't expect nothing less. Bring all the hate. That's
ain't gonna be no look. Hey, brother,
bring all the hate.
I tell you what. I feel good about Pittsburgh's chances, so I ain't got no hate.
You should feel good. You're undefeated.
I feel good.
I would never tell a Steeler fan to not feel good.
It's not even about. I mean, it's not so much about undefeated. That run defense is serious.
All right, we gonna
That run
find out.
defense is the real deal.
We gonna find out. We gonna find out against my boys on Sunday. We definitely gonna do that. And speaking of boys, man, can we transition to the Cowboys and just how pathetic they are and how they've looked?
Everybody, fire everybody, man. Look, fire everybody. That's all. Fire. Mike McCarthy got to go.
Man,
He
yeah,
got to go. Nolan got to go.
yeah. Man,
This is a wash. This is a wash season. Let me be very clear. And let me be clear.
Mm-hmm.
I owe Dak Prescott an apology because I said, you know, when he tore his AC ankle. I'm sorry, when he injured his ankle.
Yeah.
I said that that they should still be able to make it to the playoffs with the play of Andy Dalton. And nah. They need Dak more than ever right now.
Nah, Dak Prescott, his stock right now is just keeps getting larger and larger. His price value, it just keeps going all the way up.
Andy Dalton was not the answer.
No, but I mean, let's be real. Like you look at the rest of the football team, and I'm not talking about Washington. I'm talking about the Cowboys. The team and the roster and. These guys, I mean, there's talent on this team. I mean, some of these guys got contracts. They got paid. Amari Cooper got his money. Jalen Smith got his money. DeMarcus Lawrence. Zeke, who right now, Zeke is playing some terrible football right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't put it no other way. Like, you the focal point of the offense. Like, you the best player on the team right now. And you're just not living up to standards right now. You're not living up to the contract at this point. This team, Cats is going to be making business decisions if they haven't already throughout for the rest of the season.
They're clearly making business decisions right now. They're not playing for their coach.
Yeah, they got players talking about the coaches don't know what the hell they doing, and and I think they right about that. Just so I'm clear, I think they're right about the coaches not knowing what they're doing.
I don't know if they're right or wrong. I know that the players came out and said what they said, and that's a problem.
Yeah, well, that too.
Players shouldn't be coming out speaking ill will of their coaches, whether it's warranted or unwarranted. But the fact that they felt like, ooh, let's go tell our agents or go out in public and tell who we need to tell about what's going on in-house is a problem. And if you don't have that pulse on your team, then maybe it's time for you to go. And that's what it is with Mike McCarthy. That's what it is with Mike Nolan, with this terrible defense, with these with this terrible personnel. I mean, look, that back four is trash, period. They're trash.
Yeah.
The secondary is bad. It's not much to say about the front. I mean, really, it's not nothing to say about none of this defense right now. And if it's because then maybe Alvin Smith is the only, I can't even say bright spot, the only thing, I don't know what to call Alvin Smith.
I call Alden Smith a nice story, a nice comeback story. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's it. Other than that, there's just really nothing. Like there's no hope.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said there's nothing to speak about. This season is a wash, officially.
Yeah. I got NFL Network on my TV right now, and they was just showing the Cowboys' remaining schedule. Bruh, I could see them losing every game down the stretch, bruh. Even against the Bengals, even against the Vikings, even against, the rest of the division, which, I mean, let's not act like the rest of the division is, 100 times better than them. In terms of standings, anyway.
Yeah.
But I just don't see how the Cowboys win another game. And I'll be honest with you. What's that?
This was an ass whooping.
Oh,
football team you got an ass whooping by the football team. Let's be very clear on what happens today. You got an ass whooping by the football team. A loss. Okay, you accept the loss. It's like, all right, we ain't got everybody here. We ain't got Dak here, and I get it if you lose. That was an ass whooping.
Yeah. Shout out to the football team, though, man. Terry McLaurin, you saw my man burn, what's his name, right after they was talking smack. And I'm like, fam, you can't talk smack and then you get burnt like that, B. Yeah, you can't do that. And what's my
Gibson,
man, the running back?
Shout out to Gibson at the running.
Gibson,
Antoine Gibson, one of them two.
Yep. Yeah, he had a good game too, man.
Man, it got to be refreshing for Redskins fans because from preseason, well, not preseason, but leading up to the season, all Redskins fans want to tell me about is how, with AP leaving, Antoine Gibson is about to be the guy. He's like a 2 or 3, I think it's his second or third year or something like that, and he's like 6 feet tall, and he's going to be the guy. And I kept looking for him. I even picked him up on my fantasy just to see, you had to have a good look on him and see what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he wasn't doing nothing, so I cut him. And seems like I should have waited for this game because I could have used the points this week.
Yeah, he had a really good game on Sunday, man. And
career game for that matter.
And the defense, and I mean, the front four for Washington, we knew was like the strength of their football team. They really, I mean, it was really just easy for them because, you got the Cowboys offensive line that's got, second string guys on it. Which I didn't even know was the case going into the game. Like, Zach Martin's not there, Tyron Smith's not there, the two other guys. Yeah,
I mean,
right.
We knew Tyron Smith was out for the year. I knew that what's his name got injured the game before. Who's the tackle you just said? Not Smith.
Zach Martin.
Zach Martin got injured the game before.
Mm-hmm.
Frederick is, he's been out all year. I knew that they're having issues in the offensive line. You're right in your assessment, man. They're just going to be bad for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Andy Dalton, get well soon. Get well soon, bro.
That was a head hunt, bro. I don't care what nobody say.
I agree. That
was a head hunt.
100%.
And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Redskins called it on the field.
Mm-hmm.
If you see that opportunity, go get it.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
I wouldn't be surprised.
How much stock do you put in the fact that after Dalton took the blow to the head, that none of the Cowboys, wanted no smoke? Like they just was, standing around and was like, "Yo, you good?" And Bostic just kind of walked off because he knew he was going to get that ejection. How much stock do you put in that?
How much? I do put stock in that. I think that's look. I'm not saying rip the whole field apart. I'm saying make him realize let him know that we ain't nah, man, we don't play that shit.
Yeah.
I really do feel like that's indicative of their season. Like they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
That I do put stock in it. I do put stock in it. That's just natural. When you fuck with who you fuck with,
mm-hmm.
you defend that person. I mean ain't that football 101? Like you hurt my quarterback, you do something blatant to my quarterback, and you got to catch backlash. I can't recall a time where that's happened in Pittsburgh where somebody did something like that to my quarterback, and Marquise Pouncey wasn't right there.
Yeah, I don't care if Andy Dalton was the backup quarterback and he kind of came onto the team late in the offseason. I don't care that guys might not be as familiar with him as they are with Dak Prescott. The fact is that that's your quarterback on the team. He's wearing the same colors. He's wearing the same logo. He's wearing the same uniform as you guys. So anytime, football, that's a team sport. It's, y'all supposed to rumble in the alley. Like that's the mentality.
But that's what happens when there is no veteran presence on that offensive line, because it's the offensive line's job to protect your quarterback. And they didn't do it. I mean, hell, like when the quarterback gets sacked, normally offensive lineman goes, gets him up. That's their job to protect the quarterback. I mean, there was no veteran presence there really to attack John Bostic in that case. But then, hell, skilled players don't know the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm looking at Ezekiel Elliott crazy. I'm looking at Schultz or whatever tight end was in during that play.
Right.
Martin
Cooper. Gallup. Yeah.
Yeah, like somebody need to push him, need to do something, because that wasn't like that was a headhunt. That's what that was.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't believe, and even if they didn't see it that way initially, I'm sorry, it should be second nature.
And quite frankly, whether it was a headhunt or wasn't, he deserved the ejection. I don't care about the momentum. Yeah, I don't care about you couldn't slow your momentum down.
Was there somebody defending that?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I say
not that I know of. But the ejection is warranted regardless of intent.
He should be fine. That minimum
or suspended. I mean, I heard cats calling for him to get suspended for the next game.
I'm not against that. Yeah, I'm not against that.
Yeah, no, I'm not against that either. And they decided, the league that they're not going to suspend him, which is very shocking to me. So
yeah.
Man, the Cowboys it's just a mess right now. So I heard Jerry Jones today told one of the radio hosts that he does this. I guess he does this weekly, radio show in Dallas. He told the host to shut up and let me talk, whatever. Because the guy asked him like, "Yo, do you feel like there's leadership in the locker room?" And, Jerry kind of danced around the answer and was like, he was like, you talking about the offensive line? You talking about the defense? He's like, what are you talking about? And the guy's like, yo, I specifically asked you, do you believe that there's leadership on this football team? I didn't say nothing about the skilled players. I didn't say nothing about the running backs. I said the team. Do you feel like there's leadership on this football team? And
right.
Yeah, he got a little snarky for about a couple minutes, and then he finally was like, "Look, when I walk into the locker room, I don't get the sense that there's no leadership there." I kind of took that as
he knows there's no leadership in there.
Well, no, not just that. I kind of took that as him saying he's the leadership and not anybody else in that locker room. That's just me.
No, okay, yeah, I think he knows there's no leadership in that locker room, and he was dancing around the conversation because he didn't want to give a direct answer, and he hoped whoever was asking him that question would just accept whatever bullshit he was spewing and move on to the next subject. But it's clear, and I respect whoever that guy was, because it needs to be noticed and said that y'all don't have leadership in the locker room. No. They don't. Dak is gone, and don't nobody, and there's nobody else to lean on. Not a Ezekiel Elliott, not a Amari Cooper, not a a DeMarcus Lawrence or a Van Der Esch. Van Der Esch is a guy who's been there for a while. DeMarcus Lawrence is a guy who's been there for a while.
Right.
There is nobody accepting leadership responsibilities in that locker room, and it may be because of how they feel about Mike McCarthy. That may be true.
Yeah.
How they feel about Mike Nolan. That may be true, but. As players, I feel like even if you got a gripe with your coach and you don't feel like they doing the right things, at the end of the day, if you're trying to win football games, somebody got to step in and be a leader in that locker room and coach, not coach, but coach other players on how things need to be done on a day-to-day and guide players on how they should be moving on a day-to-day and in the game for that matter. So, yeah, they don't have leadership, and I think Jerry Jones knows that.
And hell, Andy Dalton, like niggas don't respect Andy Dalton. And I left this one point out earlier. They showed a clip where they were on the sideline, the offense that is, and Andy Dalton was just ripping into his offensive linemen because one of them missed a block or whatever. And this was
he should be.
Right before, we got hitting the head. But yeah, he was ripping them, and rightfully so.
Ripping them. Yeah. He should be ripping them. I would say that's what leaders do.
Yeah.
When they on their when their peoples is on that bullshit, you gotta go in there and get in somebody's shit and like, yo, like what are we doing?
And I mean, and quite frankly, you talk about leadership. That might have been one of the bright spots of leadership. Seeing Andy Dalton rip into his offensive lineman. It's unfortunate that when he got hit in the head, that nobody, wanted to, come to bat for him. And that kind of tells the story.
And if I'm and I ain't gonna hold you, if I'm Andy Dalton, I don't want to play no more.
You don't want to play no more, period, or you don't want to play for Dallas?
No, like for Dallas.
Okay. I figured that's what you meant. I figured that.
Yeah, I don't want to play no more because they don't want block. Don't nobody want to coach nothing up. Look, and I get it. He'll play obviously, but I don't want to play. The way I'm saying it, put that young boy in there, let him run for his life because he's young and he can still do it. Yeah,
Ben DiNucci.
He's young. He can still run for his life. Let him run for his life.
Man, sound like a mobster. Ben DiNucci.
Man, he ain't gonna be no mobster on this football field for the rest of the year if he get to play.
I was gonna say he gonna be running for his life, man.
Mm-hmm. He'll probably play. He'll probably play this Sunday though.
Yeah, he definitely will because Andy Dalton will still be under that protocol for concussions.
I mean, he might get cleared. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It doesn't take long to get cleared for that kind of stuff. So, how much? I thought about this, and we can move on from the Cowboys. Because I brought the point up that I just don't think they're going to win another game this year. And you're going into the draft. You're going to be one of the worst teams in football. I'm hearing some things about Trevor Lawrence in Dallas. I'm hearing like that's a real possibility. Not that it's set in stone or anything, but that's a real possibility.
I mean, I'll say this: I don't think they're going to get the number one pick. That's one thing.
Right.
I think if they don't win another game, then the Jets will have 1-0 or 1 win.
I was going to say because the Jets right now they're the favorite to get the number one pick now.
Yeah, they're clearly the favorite. So if that's the case, Dallas might get number 2, and then it's a matter of what obviously what the Jets going to want to do.
They might. Right.
And in that case, and if I'm being honest, in that case, I don't think that Dallas will get Trevor Lawrence. And I know we spoke about what my strategy would be, but I don't think that would be.
If you were the Jets, right?
If I were the Jets, right? And we spoke about my strategy. If I were the Jets, I would try to see if I could make one more shot at putting a team together around Sam Darnold. But I could see the Jets, them, saying, all right, let's just go get Trevor Lawrence. He's the biggest draft pick or whatever, or Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But then that might work out for the Cowboys because if they get Justin Lawrence, then Justin Fields, whose stock is rising, is right there at number 2. So
that's true. Yeah, that's true. I don't want to forget about Justin Fields. He had a great game over the weekend too, man.
Yeah.
But so just to kind of redo that exercise with the Jets. So you're the owner of the Jets. You're firing Adam Gase, right?
Yeah, of course.
You're firing Adam Gase.
Gase should be fired now.
Yeah, I agree with that. You're keeping Joe Douglas as a GM, right?
I hadn't thought about that, but if you're putting my foot to the fire, I'll fire him too. He's out of there.
You get him up out of there?
He's out of there.
Okay.
He still got Adam Gase right here on his team.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it because Adam Gase kind of vouched for Joe Douglas. If you remember, a couple drafts ago, McCagnon did the draft and then they got him up out of there for Joe Douglas, right after the draft. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that would be kind of crazy for that to happen. I agree with you. Adam Gase should be going now. If I'm if I'm the owner of the Jets, my first order is get rid of Adam Gase. And I disagree with you in a sense of Joe Douglas. I'm gonna keep Joe Douglas around, and I'm gonna allow Joe Douglas to put this pick the next coach, put a staff around him, deal with the draft. If you're the number one pick, you pick the best guy there, and that best guy is either going to be Trevor Lawrence or it's going to be Justin Fields. Why
keep Joe Douglas in your mind?
Why I keep Joe Douglas? Because Joe Douglas really hasn't. I don't see any fault on the side of Joe Douglas when it comes to
how many years is Joe Douglas in the GM?
He's only done one draft with the Jets. Remember, he came in after they did that draft a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. So he's only had one draft. And also remember, he didn't draft Sam Darnold either. So that's and I'm getting that from, cats up north. Cats are talking about, this is a real possibility because, like we talked about, when guys come in there and they don't, they're not familiar with, the people that's there, they want to kind of get their own people in there. So
how long do it take to realize? How long have we been saying Adam Gase should be fired?
Since last year.
Does Joe Douglas have the power to fire Adam Gase?
It's a very good question. I don't know.
Does he at least have the pull to make the conversation that, hey, maybe we need to go find another coach?
I think he does.
Yeah,
I think he does.
This is me at Jets owner.
Yeah.
Why haven't you fired Adam Gase yet? I'm looking at that. Like you're saying that he's he hasn't done anything to be the problem here. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that he is essentially the reason why the problem may or may not still exist in the fact that Adam Gase is still the head coach.
Can I play devil's advocate to that?
Sure.
I would say that it may be smart to keep Adam Gase for the rest of the season because we know he's a bad coach. We know that, when it's time to make adjustments, he can't make them. So if we're in this position and we just shipped off Jamal Adams and, we didn't pay Robbie Anderson and, some of these other cats and they Levy, like they can't even fit Le'Veon Bell in their offense. Like that's real telling. So for me, my response to that would be maybe it is a good thing to guarantee that you're going to get the number one pick, in this coming draft to finish last, even if it means you don't win a game this season. You go 0-16 and you're on the wrong side of history.
Well, let's be clear. Well, I ain't going to say let's be clear because we don't know. A 0-16 team gets you fired as a GM in my book.
It should. I agree that in any other circumstance it should. I think in this particular case, the way that...
One?
What's that?
You can't get one win?
Yeah, you should be able to, but going into the season, this was one of the tougher schedules around football.
You can't get me one win?
Listen,
you can't give me one win.
Listen, I believe that you should be able to get one win. I also believe that in this case, with this particular situation, I just think, as far as the GM goes, he's done. I mean, he's really done nothing to really prove himself. I mean, he kind of came into the, situation and maybe didn't realize how bad Adam Gase was as a coach. He probably accepted the job, not realizing this dude's terrible at what he does.
Well, then that means you wasn't doing your homework.
Maybe. I mean, and quite frankly,
and it's GM's job to do his homework.
Sure, and quite frankly, you know who else wasn't doing their homework? The guy at the top, the owner.
Yeah, but the owner is the owner. We can't do nothing about that.
No, I understand that. I understand. I'm just making the point that you saw Adam Gase twice a year for 3 years. You saw how bad he was, and yet you decided, let me go get this guy.
Yeah, but in the Joe Douglas conversation, I'm not going to add that. I'm not going to add that to the Joe Douglas conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Douglas got a dude that he know is trash. He knew he was trash coming in because if he's hell, he's in the NFL. That's where he works inside the National Football League. He knows Adam Gase is trash.
Right. Now, we didn't hire Adam Gase. Let's be clear. He didn't hire Adam Gase.
I get that. Okay. I get that. I'm saying that if you a watcher of football, just a watcher, just a spectator,
yeah,
he's an insider. So he knows not only can he watch the Dolphins play and see they was trash,
yep,
but he can hear all the information about what other coaches are saying, what other players are saying, whatever GMs are saying about him. He hears those conversations. Hell, he's in those conversations. Okay, he goes there, and for a year, he's trash. Adam Gase is trash. Not only is he trash as a football coach, but he's pissing off the best players on the team and Jamal Adams.
Which he has a history of, by the way, going back to Miami.
Pissing off people, right? So if I'm Joe Douglas, if I'm looking at Joe Douglas, he needs to be fired. You can't even get players that want to play for you.
But that's on Joe Douglas, or is that on Adam Gase? That you can't get players to play for you?
That's on Adam Gase, but if it's Joe Douglas's job to assess the football team and the football operations, the problem is Adam Gase. And if you haven't identified that problem or made the necessary moves to rectify the problem of the franchise, then maybe you're not a good manager of a football franchise.
And Maestro, that may be possible. I'm
firing them if I'm the owner. That's why I'm saying if I'm the owner, I'm firing them.
Sure, and you know what? It wouldn't shock me either way what happens to Joe Douglas. But I'm just I'll defend Joe Douglas in this sense.
I won't.
That if you on this team and you're watching the coaching and you didn't hire this coach and you accepted the job, the coach vouched for you in some way. And you realizing this guy's not good at coaching football, so you know what? This is what happens. You trade Jamal Adams, you're making these moves, and maybe this is the strategy. I don't know. I don't know. Is this the strategy to get worse, just to get better in the off season? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
Let's be clear. Jamal Adams was disgruntled. They didn't get rid of him as a part of a strategy. They got rid of him because he didn't like playing for the team.
Sure. But I'm talking about everything as a whole. I'm not cherry picking the situations. Like, we know what happened to Le'Veon Bell.
We know Le'Veon Bell wasn't happy.
Sure. I'm again not cherry picking, the different situations, just kind of overall as a whole going back to last season. They let Robbie Anderson walk. He was one of their best players. Like, that's a part of the equation here. So, maybe.
So, I disagree. I won't keep spectating with you. I disagree. I think the team is falling apart because the GM is bad and the coach is bad. They should, and if they go 0-16, hell, if they go 1-15, I fire them both.
I mean, look, that again, I think that's what anybody would do if you don't win a football game, unless you're the Cleveland Browns and you keep Hugh Jackson, but that's a entirely different situation. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a surprise in that.
They're not even making moves to get better this year. Like, they're not doing anything but just coming on the field and being ass.
Mm-hmm. Right,
they just lost to a team. They just lost to a Buffalo team last week that didn't score a touchdown.
Right, the kicker basically beat them, but that's the Jets.
Basically, the kicker beat them.
The Jets. That's the Jets. They'll lose. They'll get blown out 1 week. Then they'll act like they're competitive for a half, and then I don't know if you saw these stats on Sunday, Maestro, but they had -4 yards of offense in the second half of that football game on Sunday against Buffalo.
Yeah.
With their guy back, mind you. With their guy back.
They need to be fired.
So
Adam Gase and Joe Douglas need to be fired. Start over.
Adam Gase, no doubt, needs to get the hell up on out of there. Joe Douglas, I'm not so sure. It wouldn't surprise me either way.
In my mind, Joe Douglas might have saved his job for a year if he would have had Adam Gase up out of here by now. But the truth is that he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We know what the problem is. Players don't like Adam Gase.
Sure. And well, I'll kind of put a bow on this thing, and I'm not just blowing this out of my ass. I'm saying, people are talking about this is probably the best thing for the Jets is to keep a guy that can't coach a team who's going to guarantee that they get the number 1 pick next year. Because
Trevor Lawrence is not changing the trajectory of the Jets. Period.
We sure about
Period.
that?
I'm positive about it. Trevor Lawrence is not changing the trajectory of the New York Jets.
So what's going to change the trajectory of the Jets? Is it the ownership?
It's got to start at the GM. It's got to start at the GM and them making logical football decisions.
I know it's too early to tell with the picks they got this year. Because I think Denzel Mims played for the first time on Sunday, so they can't evaluate him off of just one game. And I know they got Quinnen Williams and a couple other guys. People up north are talking about these picks, at least up to this point, overall haven't disappointed. I won't say that they're doing a great job because I don't believe they are. I'll say that they haven't disappointed up to this point, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Trevor Lawrence is not going to change the trajectory of this team. If they got Justin Fields, they're not going to change the trajectory of this team because the problem ain't the players.
Okay. Well, I don't think the main problem is Joe Douglas either. Me personally, I think it's the ownership.
I'm not. That's not me insinuating that Joe Douglas is the main problem. That's me saying that it don't take a fucking rocket scientist to recognize what the main problem is, and it don't take a year and a half to make the move. Fire Adam Gase and get this shit over with.
Yeah. I mean, look,
and because you don't have the gall, the intelligence, the audacity, or whatever it is that you're lacking, that's not getting Adam Gase off this team, says to me that if you last throughout this year and you go 0-16, 1-15, number 1 pick, just like Adam Gase getting fired, you should get fired because you're not making the necessary moves to make this football team better.
They can't. But are they really going to get better at this point in the season?
They had a better chance if they would have got a coach in here before the end of the year, before the beginning of the football year, because we knew Adam Gase was trash last year.
Yeah. I mean,
he got to wear that.
I tell you this. Question: does Joe Douglas have to wear what happened up to the end of last year? Because remember, he was not involved in that draft. He got hired. And then the preseason came, and then the season came, and what they finished, 7-9 or something like that. But they started so bad the first half of the season, but they kind of finished, relatively strong toward the end of the year. I don't know if I would hold Joe Douglas accountable.
Are you implying that Joe Douglas thought that this team had hope based on the second half of the season last year?
It's possible.
Yeah, if he saw that, he should be fired.
It's possible.
If he saw that, Trey, he should be.
Again,
because he was wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, obviously he was wrong. I mean, it's obvious, but I'm just talking about from the time he walked into the door till the end of last season. They had Le'Veon Bell still there. They had Jamal Adams still there. They finished
disgruntled.
But he wasn't disgruntled last year. He was disgruntled in the offseason.
They were trying to trade Le'Veon Bell mid-season. They was trying to trade Le'Veon Bell mid-season last year.
That is true. That is true. And I put that more on Adam Gase more than anybody. But yeah, I think if you're Joe Douglas and you looked at the end of last year and you looked at the players that you had on the team and how you finished, Sure. I thought.
You looked at your team and knew, I'm sorry, and I know I'm cutting you off. You looked at the team and knew you was going to be dead last next year.
Say that one more time.
If you looked at the end of the Jets season last year and looked at your roster on paper this year, you knew that you were going to be dead last in the AFC East again.
Joe Douglas, you're saying Joe Douglas knew that,
That's
or
what Joe Douglas? Oh, that's what he should have known.
you're saying he should have known.
He should have seen it.
Well, look, man. I'm just telling you what I think these guys, were thinking up here in the head, bruh. I'm looking at the facts. They finished strong. They still had some players on the team. It was Joe Douglas's first draft this past offseason, and they just had some time to let it see how it played off. Combined with the fact that their nemesis, Brady left the division. So you combine that with, and I know Buffalo came on strong last year, but me personally, I wasn't buying Buffalo. I wasn't, ready to buy Buffalo as getting back to the postseason. So if you're the GM of the Jets and you see, okay, there's change in the division, and you're looking at Buffalo and you're kind of saying, okay, maybe they got to back this up. And yes, they did make moves to get themselves stronger, but at least in my eyes, I had to see it to believe it. And then with Miami, Miami wasn't going to be much of a player, at least in the Jets' eyes, I would like to think. What else are you supposed to think if you're the GM? Give it a shot.
Trash, and I know it.
Give it a shot, and if it don't work out, then you get rid of the guy. You get rid of the guy. I just think it's too early on Joe Douglas's part, but it wouldn't shock me either way if the Jets let him walk along with Adam Gase. So it wouldn't surprise me either way.
Here's my closing statement. 0-15. 0-16, 1-15. Joe Douglas, along with Adam Gase, should be fired.
So how many games do they got to win if Joe Douglas keeps his job? Like, the rest of the season, how many games does he have to win to keep his job? 3? Okay, 3-13. Okay. I think not just that. I think they gotta show that they could compete, because all these games up to this point, they've just looked dead. Like, there's just no competition, with this football team. At least. So
what if they look competitive and go 2-14?
They could look competitive and not win a game.
No, I'm saying, what if they look competitive and go 2-14? That's a specific question. Should he stay? Should he keep his job?
I think he should stay. If they're looking more competitive, no, Gase to go. Regardless of what happens, Gase got to get the hell up out of there. Because it's clear. But what's clear to me with Adam Gase? Adam Gase doesn't like coaching the superstar player or the best players on the football team. That's what's clear to me. You can go back to Miami. Got rid of Kenyon Drake. He got rid of Jarvis Landry. Jay Ajayi went to the Eagles. He was tired of him. And then you see it here with the Jets, where the best players aren't here. It's Adam Gase. It's one common denominator, and that's him.
Right, but that's what I'm saying about Joe Douglas. If you can see that from tens of thousands of miles away, what the problem is, then why can't Joe Douglas see that? And why is he giving this dude a chance if he does see it?
Well, I think I think for me.
Let's be clear. Joe Douglas was here last year, correct? Am I understanding the information right? Joe Douglas was here last season. He wasn't a part of the draft.
He wasn't here. He came on. He came on late in the offseason.
So he watched all year, all during the year. He watched him mismanage Jamal Adams. He watched him mismanage Le'Veon Bell. He watched him mismanage Robbie Anderson. He watched him mismanage these players, the talent on the team. It don't take and then if you're doing your homework, you watch them mismanage Kenyon Drake, Jay Ajayi, Jarvis Landry, like these players have gone on to other teams and been somewhat productive. Not so much in Jay Ajayi's case, but you've watched these are players that Adam Gase has mismanaged and got rid of, and he's the common denominator. He's the problem.
Yeah, he being Adam Gase. Yeah,
Adam Gase, right? So if I'm Joe Douglas, the GM, the guy that's managing a football team, it don't take me a year and a half to recognize I need to get Adam Gase out of here if I am to keep a job. He got to fire Adam Gase. He needs to fire Adam Gase now.
Sure. And I would love for that to happen just because I don't want to see Adam Gase on the sideline. I would love to see that. But
the team is bad. They're not going to win games.
They're bad. Yeah, they're terrible. They're bad. I'm just saying there's a devil's advocate to this thing, and what if the plan is to just be bad the rest of the year? Let's get the coach up, get his ass up out of here, and let Joe Douglas bring his own people in here. Let him run the draft. Let him prove himself that he can, turn this thing around. And if he doesn't, then that's going to warrant him getting his ass up out of there.
What if he does, though?
What if he does what?
Turn it around.
What if he turns it around? Oh, then he gets to keep his job.
Adam Gase?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Joe Douglas. My bad.
No. What if Adam Gase turns it around? They're 0-7, 0-8,
yeah,
0-7.
Yeah.
What if they turn it around and go 8-8?
Yeah.
Of course, that's not going to really happen. What if he did it though?
Not that. I'm not saying that. I'm just me, Trey Fraser. I am firing Adam Gase if they go undefeated the rest of the season. I'm firing Adam Gase.
You do recognize that.
There's nothing that he can do.
9-7 is a possible playoff berth, though. You firing a coach after.
The Titans let what's his name go after making the playoffs. The Chargers let Marty Schottenheimer. They got him fired after 14-2 season.
Adam Gase right now. That's not a reasonable thing to do. And let's be clear.
No, it's not a reasonable thing to do, but I'm just saying that there's instances that have happened where coaches have made the playoffs with teams, actually won a football game, and didn't return back to the team the following year.
Sure, and in most of those cases, we were like, what is that? What is this team doing?
I wasn't like that with Marty Schottenheimer.
I said in most cases, not every case. In most cases,
okay.
We were like, what is the team doing?
Okay. I don't know how I felt about the I can't remember who was. Oh, was it Malarkey that coached the Titans a couple years ago? I don't remember who the coach was before they got Vrabel, but yeah, I don't know how I felt about that situation. But sure, typically a coach goes 9-7 after starting 0-7. Yeah, your first thought is, okay, we're gonna keep the guy. That's your first thought, but. Again, this is me, Trey Fraser. If I am the owner of the Jets, I don't give a damn what they do the rest of the year. Adam Gase has proven over 2 franchises now. This isn't with the Jets. This is 2 franchises now that he doesn't know how to deal with star players. He just doesn't.
So I don't understand why that don't fall at Joe Douglas's feet. And I'll close it with that.
Because he's only been there a year and a half.
He's been there long enough to know.
Well, that he should have fired him at the end of last season. But like you said in the 9-7 scenario, it's not the same, but it's eerily similar. The Jets finished strong toward the end of the season last year.
Finishing strong is 7-9.
But that's the whole season. I'm not talking about the whole season. I'm talking about the second half. I'm talking about the second half of the season. They finished 6-2. They finished 6-2, something like that.
But me and you both know that there's a very big difference in the whole scheme of a football season
Mm-hmm.
There's a very big difference between 7-9 and 9-7.
Sure, let's remember this too.
That's not the same conversation,
right? And
the same conversation.
And let's remember this too. He was brought on. He was suggested by Adam Gase that he himself take this job. Let's remember, Gase went to the owner and was like, "Get McCagnon's ass up out of here. I want Joe Douglas instead." That's what happened. That's what happened. And
that's why Joe Douglas asked me to get fired, because first of all, you got recommended by a bum ass coach that don't know shit about managing a football team, more than another dude that feel like he got to have the coach's back because he got him the job per se, and he don't got the balls to fire the coach that don't know what he's doing.
And he probably he probably doesn't because he feels some kind of way about the dude that gave him a job.
And that's why all of them need to lose their job. Both of them need to be together losing their damn job.
So Joe Douglas should lose a job because he got recommended?
It ain't no loyalty to these motherfuckers. It's your job or mine.
No, I'm not talking about loyalty. I'm just saying he shouldn't get fired. He was recommended by a guy that can't coach.
No, I'm saying he should get fired because the guy who recommended him, he's not firing the guy that recommended him, even though he know that he's trash.
Well, he's going to fire him at some point, if not now.
How do you know that? We don't even know that that's going to happen.
Oh, because they might finish 7-9 again?
No. We don't know that Joe Douglas is going to fire Adam Gase if they go 0-16. That's not Joe Douglas ain't never came out and said, "Hey, we going to fire Adam Gase if he don't have a good year this year."
Of course he's not going to say that. I don't think
we're assuming that.
Would say that.
We're assuming that.
Right.
We're assuming that. Just like Hugh Jackson didn't lose his job at 0-16. Adam Gase could not lose his job at 0-16.
Which was stunning, by the way. I'm going to be clear about that.
So we can't sit here and act like we know Adam Gase is getting fired. We don't know that.
Technically speaking, we don't know that.
No, not technically. We don't know. Literally.
Well, look, if I'm betting money, Adam Gase is getting fired, regardless of what happens. That's me. If I'm putting money up on the table, I'm a bet 100% he's getting fired. And if I'm wrong, then so God help me.
Now, I don't give a damn anyway. They could be trash all they want to be.
Yeah, they've been trash for 50 years, bro. Nothing new. Did you watch the night game? You catch Seahawks and Cardinals?
I caught enough of it. I fell asleep before overtime, so I ain't gonna say I won't say I caught enough of it.
Man, that was was a great finish. That was a great finish to regulation one, and then everything that kind of happened in overtime with the missed field goal, and then you have Russell going down the field, and then Metcalf scores what he thought was the game-winning touchdown, and then they had to call back, and then Russ throws the interception, and then that was that pretty much was all she wrote right there. I tweeted right at when he missed that field goal. I said, man, I lost the pick because of a missed field goal earlier in the day, and now this is happening again here. But yeah, the Cardinals. This was a big time win for the Cardinals, man. So they're 5-2. They're right there with everybody else in the division right now. And I know the Rams won yesterday, so that they're 5-2 also. And
every team got 5 wins. Is that
the
right?
Niners are 4-3, but the Niners are just as competitive as everybody else is in that division right now. All 4 teams can make the playoffs in this format, this new 7-team playoff format.
Right.
They could all make the playoffs, and it got me thinking, bro, because you and I had this talk about the NFC East being so terrible, and I'm looking around the standings in the NFC, and so you got these 4 teams in the West. You got Tampa and New Orleans in the South looking really good right now, and in the North you still got and we could feel how we feel about the Bears, but they are 5-2, and they compete for a playoff spot, and so you really got 8 teams in the NFC that's not in the NFC East that's like really in some heavy contention for the playoffs right now. Man, if it was up to me, bro, I'd be like, yo, I don't care who wins the NFC East. Y'all not in this postseason. I'm gonna get one of these other teams that's probably gonna go 10-6, 11-5, and don't even sniff the postseason. And I'm gonna pick that team. I'm gonna actually pick that team to host a playoff game in place of any of those teams.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want to separate the real from the fake?
Yeah, let's do that.
In the NFC.
NFC.
Let me pull up the NFC standings really quick on my cellular phone. Standings.
And I'm gonna be clear about something. All those teams out west,
let's be clear when I say real and who fake. I'm talking about who's making the playoffs and who's not. We at mid-season right now.
Are we at mid-season?
Week 8. I mean, week 9. I guess maybe it's a week.
We're approaching it. We're approaching it. We're approaching it. But we could still do this exercise here. So, you want to start with the West?
And I'm talking about who's making the playoffs. That's what I'm talking about right now.
Seattle's making the playoffs.
Seattle's making the playoffs, 100%.
Seattle's making the playoffs. The Cardinals are making the playoffs.
Okay.
I still got questions about the Rams though, and I know I know they just beat Chicago, and I know I said I got to beat somebody other than anybody in the East.
Chicago wasn't who I was talking about though.
Huh?
Chicago. I said when I said that the Rams need to beat somebody outside of the NFC East. Chicago wasn't the team I had in mind.
Okay.
Clear. Okay. Now I give them credit for beating. They beat them and they beat them.
Sure.
Pretty handily.
Yeah.
But that's not the team I had in mind when I was saying they need to beat somebody outside the NFC East.
Sure. You're talking about like this. You see them go up against the Saints or whoever. I don't know who's on the rest of their schedule, but like the Bucks. The Saints, Green Bay. I don't know if they play Green Bay this year or not.
Yeah, just give me a statement game. I guess at this point the Bears are their statement game, but I think I had somebody different in mind.
Oh, okay. What you know what? I tell you what. I'm now that I'm thinking about it, I might have to buy the Rams as making the playoffs. I'm just sitting here thinking, and I'm like, okay, they just played the NFC East, so there's really no more of those games.
Mm-hmm.
They still got some games in the AFC East that I think could be some tough games. I'm just looking at their schedule here. So okay, so they go to Miami to play the Dolphins next week, and I think that's a tough game for the Rams. That's just my opinion there.
They should beat the Dolphins if they're serious.
They should, yes.
If they're serious, let me make this easy. If they don't beat the Dolphins, they're not serious to me. They fake to me.
So
they don't beat the Dolphins, they're fake to me.
And I would agree with that. And I'll be honest with you, I am probably this close to picking the Dolphins to win that game next week. I'm not there yet, but I'm real close. I like what they're doing with the change of quarterback and putting Tua in there. We'll see how that goes. But they still got to play the rest of their division. These are some tough games. They still got to play the Seahawks twice. They got to play the Cardinals twice. Got the Niners again.
Do they beat any of these teams in their division? 6 games.
Ooh. I think
6 losses.
Because they lost to San Fran already, right?
Yeah, was it San Fran? Let me find out.
Yep. 24-16. 24-16 the other week.
So,
yeah.
Do they 5 games? Do they beat?
I think they win 2 of those 5.
2 of those 5.
I think they get 2 of those 5, and then they play the Bucks, so they might lose to the Bucks there.
Ain't no Mike unless somebody injured. Unless Tom Brady's injured, that's a loss.
Right. And then the other 2 games we didn't talk about, the Patriots and the Jets.
So they should be able to sweep the AFC East if they're serious.
Yeah. I mean, with the way the Patriots looking right now, and I don't know how they're gonna look come December 10th, but the way they look right now, you should be able to sweep all those teams there.
If they're serious, they should be able to beat the NFC and AFC East. That's 8 wins right there.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick
get them
with
2 more wins out of their division. That's 10-6.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, because if those other teams in the North and the South get 11 or 12, then they out.
Sure.
I'm just talking about. I'm just talking about 10-6. Mm-hmm. I mean, 10-6 should get you in the playoffs under normal circumstances, and with 7 teams, that should get you in the playoffs. And let's be clear, these aren't normal circumstances, because you have a division leader in that conference at 2.5 wins, and it's week 7. So this is not a normal circumstance. Somebody's gonna get 10 wins and miss this playoffs.
Okay.
Somebody's gonna get left out, and it's gonna be sad and unfortunate. In the NFC, yeah.
In the NFC West.
Say that again.
I'm talking about specifically the West, because we're doing real and fake right now. Mm-hmm. So somebody in the West is going to get left out.
I think somebody in the West is going to get left out. I think
what about the 49ers?
I think they get left out.
The 49ers and the Rams get left out.
Yeah. Okay. I think 2 teams at the very least 2 teams come out of the West. And the 2 for me is Arizona and Seattle for me.
Okay. NFC South, Falcons are fake, Carolina's fake.
Yeah. I think the Saints are contenders. I think the Bucks, the way they look right now, are contenders right now.
So that's 4 teams. That's 4 teams going to the playoffs right now.
Yep. In the North,
Green Bay.
Green Bay is a contender. I think the Bears are fake right now. I think the Bears are fake. It's the quarterback for me, man.
But I'm saying that's 5 teams though.
I know.
That's 5 teams.
I think
and
the
then
Bears
the Eagles and then the Eagles make 6 teams. So the last playoff slot.
Right. So there's a method to my madness here. There's a method to my madness, because somebody's going to come from the dead and rack off, 5 straight games. And I got to tell you, and you're going to disagree with me. You're going to disagree with what I'm about to say. I'm looking at the Lions schedule, bruh, and they could get to 6-3 very, very easily with their next 3 opponents right now. I think I'm gonna pull this up right now.
The Colts, the Vikings, and the football team.
Right, and that Colts game is in their building at Detroit. So I think they got an opportunity to make some hay and kind of put themselves in position. I'm not necessarily, and this is gonna sound weird, I'm not necessarily calling them a contender, but because of the method to my madness, somebody, and it happens almost every year.
You Max Kellermaning me right now.
Okay, I don't give a damn.
I need to know who real and who fake. Are the Lions going to the playoffs, man?
You know what? Screw it. They go in the playoffs, B. They're gonna come from the dead. They're gonna come from the dead and make the playoffs, bro. Somebody got to do it. Somebody's got to do it.
So the way you got it, I just want to recap. Mm-hmm. You got Seattle, Arizona, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Green Bay, Detroit, and in the East, whoever. Somebody.
I think it's going to be the Eagles at the end of the day.
Yeah, obviously it's got to be the Eagles.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Everything you said is correct, except for me. I am going to give the 49ers the edge for that seventh slot.
Okay. So you still got the Rams out though, right?
I have the Rams out, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so you're Seattle, Arizona, Niners,
49ers,
Saints,
Tampa Bay,
Bucks. Eagles,
Packers.
and Packers.
Yep.
Okay. All right. AFC. AFC West. We know the Chiefs are contenders. I honestly don't see anybody else out of that division. I think the Raiders are fake. I thought they would, back that up, earlier a few weeks ago, but I think the Raiders are fake. I think the Chargers, while they look good in certain spots, they just lose too many close games for me. They're fake. And the Broncos, they just got too many problems. They're fake. AFC South. The Titans are real. I think the Colts are... Well, let me get this out of the way. Texans are fake. Jacksonville's fake. That's the one team right there. You know what?
Cleveland versus the Colts. That's where I'm at with it.
You said what? It's Cleveland versus.
But for the 7th spot, it's the Browns versus the Colts. That's it for me.
Okay, so Cleveland. Okay. Yeah, for me, it's Colts versus the Dolphins for me, and I'm not wavering off of that Dolphins pick to make the playoffs. So I guess at this stage, I got the Colts out. Even though they look good, I'm not going to just sit here and say that.
I wouldn't say good. They don't look terrible, but they don't look good. I mean, Phillip Rivers had a good game last week. Not that. I know what I'm saying. He had like a 400-yard game recently.
Yeah, they had a comeback against the Bengals. Yeah,
the Bengals. That's the game I'm thinking about. And outside of that, he's just looked pedestrian. He just looked pedestrian. He's looking old. He looked washed up.
He does.
I know they got a good defense, but
that's been the most consistent part of the team.
Yeah, but you need points. You need points in this game. So I don't know if that's gonna last forever. Low key, I will entertain the Dolphins, but as it stands right now, I got Cleveland at the number 7 spot. So Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, Tennessee, Kansas City.
Okay, so for you, it's wait. Let me go back. So you said for you, it's Kansas City, Tennessee, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, and Miami. You said Miami.
No, I definitely did. I'm missing a team.
Yeah, you're missing Buffalo, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Tennessee, and Kansas City. That's 6.
Damn, I am missing a team. So I guess
it's between the Colts and the Dolphins.
I guess I got to do the Dolphins then.
Okay.
I guess so.
Okay.
I guess so.
If that's the case, then we agree.
We agree, yeah.
We agree on all 7 teams. I mean,
I thought you didn't have the Browns. I didn't hear you say the Browns. That's why I was saying we disagreed.
Like I said a couple weeks ago, I feel comfortable at this point picking the Browns to make the playoffs this year.
Right, even if they're 7.
Even if they're number 7. Even if they're number 7, I think the schedule sets up for them, and really the schedule sets up for everybody in the division, unless you're Cincinnati. But the schedule sets up perfectly. I mean, even with the Odell Beckham injury, and prayers out to OBJ. Get well soon. I think the Browns get one of those wild cards. No question about it. I think it's the Browns get a wild card. Yeah. The Steelers get a wild card, and the Dolphins get a wild card. Okay.
Yeah, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Miami gets a wild card.
All right. Bet. What other games was going on? Like, I'm trying to think. Like, what other big games was there? I guess Tampa and Vegas was sort of a big game. I mean, both teams.
I don't feel the need to stress that game. Like, I won't stretch a conference. None of these.
I mean, I wasn't gonna stretch it. I'm just thinking about what were some of the big games coming into the week. I thought that was one of them, but
Man,
I don't have
why
much commentary on it.
Yeah, they blew him out. They blew him out like we knew they were going to do.
Well, I didn't think they was gonna blow him out. I thought they'd win. I thought they'd win. I didn't think they'd blow him out.
I thought they were going to blow him out. But while we on Buccaneers, we can talk Antonio Brown being signed and being coming back week 9 against the Saints. Can earn up to 2.5 this year playing with the Buccaneers. And how do you feel about Antonio Brown going to the Buccaneers? And can we stop this? Tom Brady is not running the Buccaneers right now. He is clearly the GM of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now.
Who's saying that he's not running the Buccaneers?
I'm hearing people talking about the Buccaneers. The Arians always wanted to mess with Antonio Brown, and this ain't Tom Brady. Tom Brady even came out and said I had nothing to do with the Antonio Brown sign. I'm like, nigga, shut up. Yes, you did. You had everything to do with it.
Tom Brady is on his LeBron right now, B.
Yeah.
Like he's on his, y'all want to come get the chip, y'all could come to Tampa. Like that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. I'm surprised anybody even disputed that.
What are you talking about? He's clearly the GM right now. He's clearly going into the offices, kicking shit down and saying, hey, Antonio Brown about to be eligible. Y'all better bring him into Tampa Bay right now.
That man saying he's like, he like, who I am? I'm Tom MF Brady, dog. Like, y'all gonna get me who I want.
In here. Get him in here right now. I just hope that Antonio Brown don't ruin that locker room.
Yeah, and I guess that's a wait and see kind of a thing, right?
Because he's not gonna get the targets. Let's be clear. Mm-hmm. He's not gonna get the targets that he was getting in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think we thought that when he was, when he went to Oakland for 2 weeks. I think we kind of thought that. I think we kind of thought that when he got signed to the Patriots. Well, maybe not the Patriots. Maybe not the Patriots.
I thought for certain he was going to get the targets in Oakland. And then when he went to New England, I'm thinking, nah, he's not going to get the targets he's not going to get the type of targets he wants. I knew for certain he was the only receiver there in Oakland.
We kind of different on this one because
we don't kind of different. I thought for certain that it was going to be a Derek Carr throwing to AB clinic. Like he was going to be forcing the ball, much like Ben Roethlisberger did, except for he wouldn't be as good as Ben Roethlisberger at getting Antonio Brown the ball.
Well, I thought he was going to be targeted in New England because that offense was so terrible that there were going to be moments that he was going to get targeted.
Sure, he's going to get targets, but they still
the majority of targets. He was going to get majority of targets.
Julian Edelman is still his main man. Tom Brady is let me throw to open. Like they throw a lot to running backs. They throw a lot to Edelman. They even play the tight end game a lot. I know Gronkowski was in there, but they you know what I'm saying? He's going to spread the ball. Tom Brady spreads the ball.
Right.
So Derek Carr don't even have.
So in essence, you're saying Julian Edelman was better than any receiver that was on Oakland at that time.
No, I'm saying that Tom Brady has a rapport with Julian Edelman, and Derek Carr don't have a rapport with none of those receivers like that. That's Tom Brady, Julian Edelman-esque. And Antonio Brown is the best receiver in the game.
Okay, I was going to say, at least then he didn't. It looks like he's got one with Darren Waller right now. But that certainly wasn't the case a year ago.
Yeah. So, Antonio Brown was going to be the reason why people had the Raiders possibly making a wild card because of the connection between Antonio Brown and Derek Carr. Like,
so
Tom Brady got a rapport with a receiver.
So I think if everything works out with Antonio Brown with the Bucks, and it's not, he just come and play football. You know what I'm saying? Like no distractions, no off the field stuff, and he's probably gonna do social media stuff, but it is what it is. But just come play football. Like it don't gotta be no other outside stuff happening. Just come and play football. We win games. We get to the playoffs. We got a chance at a chip. Let's get it. If this all works out, I gotta tell you, man, they at the very least they gonna get to the conference title game.
Yeah, I won't play with you. They're going to the Super Bowl.
I'm not gonna. I won't do that yet. I would love Russell Wilson to go to the Super Bowl this year. And that's the problem, man. It's not just Russell Wilson. See, here's the thing people got to understand, right? Because I hate when people so when everybody was dissecting this Brady move to Tampa, people brought up the notion that he don't want to go up against Patrick Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl. So he's going to the other conference so that he can easily get, to the Super Bowl and not have to face Patrick Mahomes. And I'm like, wait a minute. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, and God forbid Kyler Murray, takes off. Like that's 3 to 4 teams. That's 3 to 4 teams in that conference that chances are you might have to go through all 3 of them just to get there. You just might. I don't know that this is an easier conference for Brady to get to the Super Bowl in. I don't know that.
I don't know that either, but I don't believe that Tom Brady's the type of player that's like, ooh, what's the easiest way to the Super Bowl?
I don't believe that either.
Yeah, I don't believe that. That's what's fake. I don't believe.
I don't
that.
believe. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So whoever even brought the notion that even the NFC was an easier conference than the AFC, I don't know what you're talking about, because
I don't necessarily have an opinion. I don't necessarily have an opinion about what's the tougher conference. I guess if you made me make a decision, I would say the NFC anyway. Mm. But I don't, like I said, Tom Brady I don't think Tom Brady.
He doesn't think about that stuff. And
particularly at this stage of his career. And then especially knowing that he was going to put a team together. Like when Tom Brady came, players started coming. Leonard Fournette, LaShawn McCoy, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski.
That nigga got up off his couch, man.
Yeah. So he made an OG call and said, "Hey, come on, let's go. Let's go." And they're clicking right now. Let's be very clear. They are clicking right now.
Yeah, they've had a great 2 weeks so far, man. They've had a 2 weeks, and
so now I got to think about that connection, that connection that had won so many Super Bowls and so many games in the NFC. I got to worry about that connection. Then Antonio Brown, I got to worry about that. We gonna forget about Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Mm-hmm. We're going to forget about O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate, who are still on the team now.
Still on the team, yeah. Ronald Jones.
Jones, who's been taking the bulk of the work, really.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette's been getting less burn.
Yeah. So we forgetting about, there is, and not to mention that this defense has they have the potential to play top 5 defense this year. Mm-hmm. They have the potential of doing that.
Yeah, this might be the deepest team in the league.
Ain't no might about it. This is the deepest team.
In terms of offensive weapons, they are so deep on that side of the ball. It's not even funny.
But they got a strong defensive. They're strong on the defensive side. Mm-hmm. They're not the deepest defense in the league, but when you couple how deep they are on offense and how deep they are on defense, this is the most. This is the best team all around. If you want to play the on paper game, sure, we could play that game. On paper, they're the best team, and they've done it through picking up because of the Tom Brady effect.
Mm-hmm. On paper, yes. I had to think a minute, and I'm like, okay, you did say on paper, but yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're the best team and they can't be beat, but I mean, you genuinely got to look at it. Is this the best team?
Yeah.
I
don't got them in the Super Bowl yet, though.
Yeah, let me tell you this though, and let me say this: If anybody can beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's Russell Wilson. That's the only person I'm giving a shot. Let me be very clear on that. He's the only person I'm giving a shot to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is Russell Wilson. When they play when they play New Orleans in Week 9, trust me when I tell you, Tampa Bay is going to smoke them.
Yeah, New Orleans is not at full strength right now. And we really gotta see what the deal is with Mike Thomas. Like I just heard something crazy
Thomas
earlier
comes
today.
back there getting smoked.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Comes back there getting smoked.
I don't know about that. But let me just say this. I think because they've been talking about a potential trade. Like they're talking about trading Michael Thomas, which I don't believe. But I'm just like stunned that this was even like a conversation, even while he's, trying to heal himself up and get back in the game. I think he's going to be out this week. I think he's going to be out the following week. And after that, who knows? So I don't know about the Saints, like what they're going to be. I think they're a playoff team. I mean, I said it, a few minutes ago, but he's a big part of why they're going to get to where they got to get to. He's going to be a big part of that. And I just don't know what they're going to look like come December or January. So I can't honestly say right now. Well, I can honestly say now that they can't beat Tampa in the playoffs if they play with this particular roster without Michael Thomas. I think Michael Thomas is a difference maker.
Sure.
That's just me.
But they're not going to be able to hang. They're not going to be able to hang with Tampa Bay with just Michael Thomas and Drew Brees and Kamara. Not going to happen.
You don't think so?
With just them three, with the defense that Tampa's playing, nah, I don't think so.
And I don't want to. And
when I say smoke New Orleans, I'm not talking about they're going to lose by 20 points. I'm talking about it's going to be an ass whooping. If it's by 10 points, it's going to be an ass whooping. You're going to know who the better team was. You're not going to leave there thinking, "Ooh, next time New Orleans might get them." You're going to know who's going to win this division.
Yeah, I don't want to undersell that New Orleans defense either. I think they're a little bit underrated. I don't want to.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to undersell that defense.
Trash. I'm not saying they trash. I'm saying what are they going to do with Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Chris Godwin, Michael Evans, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, Scotty Miller, O.J. Howard? What are they going to do with that?
I mean, the Bucks lost twice already. I mean, whoever they lost, I can't remember who they lost to, but they lost to the Saints week 1. I'm not going to count that, but they're beatable. I guess that's the point. But
every team is beatable. But if you think for a second that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady is going to lose to a team that also has Super Bowl contention in their mind. Mm-hmm. Meaning that this is a litmus test game. This is a gut check game.
Yeah, I just think
it's no way in hell.
I think it's going to
put me down right now for week 9.
Listen, I think if the Bucks are going to beat the Saints in a playoff situation, it's going to be a shootout. Like I just can't see the Saints getting their ass whooped in a playoff game, knowing that they got weapons, you got weapons. I mean, it's less weapons than they do, but we've seen what the Saints could do. We've seen it. So
not defensively against this offense.
So let's see, because you said before when defenses don't matter and you throw all the X's and O's out the window. This has a potential to be a shootout.
I've never said when defenses don't matter. I've never said when defenses don't matter.
Yeah, you said that before.
I said when we throw X's and O's out the window, defense still matters.
You said that phrase before.
Because you're talking about one play. No, that doesn't exist in football though, Trey. I've never said that.
Yeah, you have.
That doesn't exist.
I gotta pull the tape up. But I just don't see them getting blown out. Like I see a close loss. I see a shootout between those two. And I could see Tampa Bay winning in the shootout against the Saints.
Tampa Bay wins by 10 points at least.
By 10 points at least? Now we talking about this upcoming game, or we talking about in the playoffs?
Week 9 playoff, wherever you want to slice it. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are fully healthy and the Saints are fully healthy, is going to be 10 points and up.
Now, if we're talking both games, like this upcoming
Playoff,
game, I think
week 9 of playoffs.
I think if the Bucks blow them out this game next week, I think if they get in the playoffs and they see each other, I think the game is closer. I think if they play each other next week and it's a closer game, I think the playoff game later down the road becomes a blowout. I just can't see them getting blown out both times, and quite frankly, I can't even see it being a shootout.
Okay, let me take blowout out, because I know you keep saying blowout, and what I meant by blowout, I meant handle at hand.
Right, like they're dominating the game.
Let's be clear: a 10-point win on paper ain't a blowout.
No, sure,
okay.
But
so we were clear on what I was saying.
Sure, but if you dominate time of possession like your team did against the Titans, and you putting up points, and the other team can't get into rhythm because they haven't been on the field much because you burning clock, that's domination. That could equate to a blowout.
Pittsburgh didn't dominate Tennessee though.
Huh?
Pittsburgh didn't dominate Tennessee overall.
Overall, no. But when you look
at the first half, you're only talking about the first half.
Sure, but I mean, when you look at the final score of that game, I don't think that score really, in my opinion, I don't think it tells the story.
I think it tells the story. Let's do some splash plays and turnovers.
Right, but let's be clear. Y'all won this game in those first 2 drives. That was critical.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I think the only thing we got left to talk about is the Dodgers going to close it out, or Dodgers going to close it out tonight?
They won't close it out. Tampa wins tonight, and it goes to Game 7 tomorrow night. And I think the Dodgers take Game 7. That's how I see it happening.
All right.
Well, yeah.
I'll take the Dodgers tonight. And let me look at the score before I say that.
Tampa's up 1-0. It's only the second. It's only the second inning.
Yeah, I'll take the Dodgers tonight. I truly don't care, but I'll take them to close it tonight.
Yeah. That was a crazy finish. What was that, Game 4? I think when Tampa they at the bottom of 9th, and what's his name ran the base. He tripped himself.
Mm-hmm.
That was a crazy finish right there. The only other thing I got left, the NBA came out and had discussions. Well, they've had discussions about when they're going to start the season, but it's looking like they're going to start December 21st, 22nd, somewhere around there. Like they'll still have their, Christmas games and all that. But the season is going to consist of 70 games. And I think it's going to go like, it's going to end like it regularly does. Like not to test out, extending the season into, July and August and all that. They're not going to do that. So I think that's a pretty good, barometer for them.
I understand it correct. LeBron said that he don't want to do that, and he's going to take a month off if they do that.
It's funny. I didn't hear him say that, and I was just about to talk about how people are saying that this isn't fair to the players, that they got to start back up so quickly, and really we're really talking about the Heat and the Lakers, and maybe to a certain extent the Nuggets and the Celtics, because they've been in the bubble longer, and we all know how the season ended, but I understand LeBron coming out and saying that. I can understand if he's exhausted.
That's what was reported. I don't know if he's obviously he can come out and say, nah, they was lying, I ain't say that, but I saw that report somewhere.
Right. Yeah. No. Could I? That would be so dope, right? Like he'll rest for the first month of the season, right? Come back, still do what he do, get the Lakers to the top of the West. And repeat. Like that would be so dope. Dude, take off for a month, come back, like you never left, and just win the chip.
Yeah, I don't feel no kind of way about it. I don't know if it's dope in that. I I'd be interested. I'd be interested getting closer to the time to see what he really does.
Yeah. One more point about the the start. I'm gonna be real about this. Because people have been saying give the players a rest and all that stuff, and that's fine. If somebody on the Nuggets, the Celtics, the Heat, if they want to rest for a month, take some time out, that's cool. But let's be real. The NBA had their off season already, and this is no disrespect to COVID-19 and the reasons why they had to shut down and all that is no disrespect to anybody, but they played the last game March 11th. I think it was March 11th, and they didn't step foot on a court until July 24th or something like that. That's 4 months of not playing basketball. That's really your traditional off-season length. Now, it was a different off-season because you couldn't go to facilities, you couldn't practice as much, you couldn't do a lot of things. So that part of it I do get.
And then they played.
What's that?
And then they played. They played ball.
Yeah, they played ball.
So I hear you. I wouldn't look at. I don't look at it like that. I don't look at it like that. That's a short time to. I look at it. I'll say this.
It is a short time to turn around and go back and play basketball. It is.
And that's what I'll say. Now I'll say this. They should just go ahead and play basketball to get things back the way they were.
Yep.
But I get that it's unfair, and you don't necessarily want to do it. You want time to rest and do all those things,
right?
But I wouldn't. My response to players wouldn't be, "Well, shit, you had 4 months off, so suck it up." I would approach it with a little more understanding, I guess.
Right. But that wasn't me talking to the players. That was me talking to fans that say, hey, these players, aren't going to have time to turn back around and, start the season. That wasn't me talking to players.
Oh, okay. Well, to those fans, I wouldn't look at it like that. I would look, I get it,
Yeah. Business is business.
Business is business. There you go. Business is business.
Business is business. Because everyone knows come Christmas time, they get the viewership when they put those games on Christmas. They don't want to miss that, especially after missing all the revenue from COVID-19, the fact that they couldn't get their arenas full, the fact they lost revenue on that. No. No. They want to get fans in the seats. That's like the first step to, trying to get things back into normal.
They're going to do what the NFL is doing, essentially.
Yes, basically. Okay. And you know what? I got to be honest. I probably would do the same thing if I was the head of one of these teams or these organizations. You lost revenue. you gotta find a way to recoup it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I'm indifferent about it because people are still getting sick, man.
Yeah, and I get it. People getting sick, and they're talking about the second wave, and I'll be honest with you, I still don't know what that means when they talk about the second wave. I have no idea what that means. So
right, yeah, I don't know.
Because if they're saying the second wave is more cases, then we've already kind of gone through it because we've been having cases every day. At least within the last month or two, we've been having cases every day. Now
it's never slowed down.
What's that?
It's never slowed down.
Yeah, it's just never slowed down. Now, if you're talking about the number of deaths going up, if you're saying that's what the second wave is, then okay, now I kind of understand what that's about because the number of deaths have gone down, dramatically since maybe end of April, May-ish. We haven't had a lot of deaths due to COVID. We've had a lot of cases. So
No.
we'll see what, you know. I'm still trying to learn what they're talking about there, and people already trying to clear the stores out already. It's crazy.
No.
But if you got nothing else, man, shout out to everybody in the chat room. And shout out to Jordan Rosario, keeping it 100. Appreciate you.
What's happening? Appreciate
Big Kev 303, the greatest from South Central. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Just a few things before we get up on out of here. Y'all know where to find us. We got the website, barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. Also, we got the Facebook page. We got the Instagram page at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also, we are on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. You can also find Maestro Styles on Twitter at Maestro Styles. Instagram at Maestro Styles. Me at Trey Fraser on Instagram. Find us both on Facebook. We're all there. You can find us on YouTube. So subscribe to the page if you don't, if you haven't yet. And if you got any questions or comments about the show, you can hit us up at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. So that's it for the show. Maestro, it's been a good one, man. Gonna holler at you next week.
Yes, sir.
And y'all, what's good?
I said, make sure you holler on Instagram Live on Thursday.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, we got to talk about the big matchup, which I thought we were gonna do today, but we can hash it out on IG Live on Thursday. So we all good there. All right, y'all. Peace out. Y'all have a great week. Peace.